guys, Ashley here. Today we're going to have a conversation with PC again. He was a popular guest last time, so I'm going to bring him back to you guys today, and we're going to be talking about how to not be mismatched in Clan Wars. I'm going to go ahead and show off our war log recently. It's not perfect, it's far from perfect, and we do have a couple farm matchups in there, but you can see lately we are 35-14 since we've changed our war strategy, and that's what today's episode is going to be about. Why we changed our clan composition slightly, why we went down a little bit, adding Town Hall 9s to our roster, and why you might want to consider doing the same if you're running into some really bad matchups. Not necessarily all geared towards high-end clans. We certainly discuss all level clans in this interview, and I hope you guys are able to pick up a thing or two. I know that thinking about these things has really made a difference over in Red Elite and all our Elite Nation clans. So guys, hope you enjoy the interview, and I'm going to go ahead and show a recap, as you can see, starting here in their most recent clan war with the Clash with Ash clan. So enjoy, guys. Hey guys, so here I am with PC once again. PC, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing? Good to be back.
Yeah, you were a big hit the first time. I think a lot of people found a lot of your war weight information and stuff very helpful, so cheers to that. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
And I guess what I want to do on this episode is kind of shift the conversation towards how to avoid mismatches.
Okay.
And I know you've been with Red Elite for quite a while, but you remember the bad times as well as the good times as far as our matches go.
Yeah, it's complete opposites right now.
Yeah, so what I thought would be cool for the audience is we could talk about back in the days when we used to get terrible matchups and what we've done now to avoid awful matches, or either that or make the matches work in our favor. And since you're the stat guy, I think you could really help put some numbers to things, or at least give a better technical grasp at what we're dealing with when we talk about clan war weights and how to not be mismatched.
Yeah, so I guess back probably about 60 or 70 wars ago,
Yeah,
we were, I think we were all Town Hall 10 at that point, right?
Yeah, because if you go back over a year ago when Clan Wars started, we were, if a lot of people forget this, but we just kept raising the bar and raising the bar and raising the bar, and we hadn't gotten to the level where we were like only accepting max bases, but we were at the level at that point that it was only Town Hall 10s.
Yeah, I remember that.
So we were warring with all Town Hall 10s, which was fine at first, and we actually won, 60 to 70% of our wars for the first, 50 or so wars, roughly. And things were going well. And then we started getting matched up with the elite war clans.
Yeah, we got, let's see, we got Exodius Elite, Maximus, In the Dark, CN1, all within a stretch of 8 wars, back to back to back.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not pretty. So I'm going to put the screenshot of that actually in the video so people can see, because I actually have one of those screenshots, not in our war log anymore, but of like what we were up against on a weekly basis. It was pretty bad. Like, do you have any I don't know if you have the numbers in front of you, but just for the audience, do you have any number-wise, any picture of how mismatched we were at those times?
To be honest, when we were coming up with these like elite war clans, we were roughly 150 points under them in war weight stats,
which is very significant.
Yeah, anything outside of, I'd say, 50 points is a pretty big mismatch. But we were just getting these back to back to back because we were doing the 40-person wars, and actually it was the 35 range. That was the killer right there. That's where we were always getting mismatched. Yeah, like I mentioned in the last video, in the dark we were probably about 330 points under them. They had the 100% max bases, and it's just you can't compete.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just touched on we warred 35 versus 35. Now, there's actually a few elements we should get into as far as why mismatches happen and how to avoid them. And I guess one thing and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but my idea has always been that the larger your wars are, as far as 35 versus 35 or 40 or 45 or 50 versus 50, the more the bigger chance you have at being mismatched, unless you have a really clear weight as far as, if we warred 50 versus 50 and we had 40 town hall 9s and 10 town hall 8s, we'd be probably mismatched against a clan with a bunch of 9s. It feels like that's how it always works. Am I right there? Because I know we had that actually happen semi recently in our war log against I think Hebrew Hammer.
Yeah, I actually think I guess like the percentage plays a really big factor into it. And you got to take into account too, like 50 versus 50, that's a really big war, and the chances of you finding an exact opposite clan with your same mix-up in your roster, the chances of that are pretty slim. And I think that was our big issue back then, is we weren't all max Town Hall 10s. We had some pretty new guys in there, and we were just constantly getting pitted against these 100% max bases, like top to bottom max heroes, everything like that.
Yeah, that was that
Um,
was definitely that was definitely what was happening, and I guess we should talk about why it was happening. And so,
oh yeah,
just
yeah,
to finish up my point about the war size, I just think it's important to point out that if you're warring 10 versus 10 and you have 4 town hall 9s and 6 town hall 10s, that's pretty safe. But the bigger you get, the more you have to be really cognizant and aware that the ratio plays a really large role. So if we go 50 versus 50, like you said, there's not that many clans searching 50 versus 50, and at the same time, you have to really be sure that you have enough enough of the lower weight town halls to help weigh you down a little bit, or whatever you are warring with.
yeah. So I think the general rule of thumb that we just started implementing was so we're all Town Hall 10s, and we've been throwing in I think 25% Town Hall 9s. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
works. I think it doesn't really matter if it's Town Hall 10 or 9 or 8 or
yeah, yeah,
7, but basically if you're going to war like us with 40 or 45, that's what we do right now.
yeah.
You have to really be careful that you're bringing at least, for example, I would never war 40 versus 40 or 45 versus 40 with less than 11 Town Hall 9s.
Hmm.
That'd be the absolute minimum. I'd prefer closer to 14, 15,
Yeah.
So you have to make sure you have enough. When we warred with 6 or 7 Town Hall 9s, that's when we would run into those big mismatches as far as the other clan might only have 1 or 2 because it's still in that realm of close enough.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that was why. I mean, that was one of the reasons why we're being mismatched. Another huge reason why we're being mismatched is heroes.
Yeah. Um, so I know Supercell just recently updated their algorithm to take into account heroes and walls a little bit more.
Hmm.
But back before then, that wasn't really playing a factor. Like our role was just max your heroes as fast as you can, but obviously that takes a long time, and we were just getting pitted against those clans. Like they have full max heroes top to bottom, and I'm sitting here with like level 20 heroes
Hmm.
trying
Yeah,
to trying to act like I have level 40 heroes,
it's
so to
tough.
speak. But
It's tough,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
So,
it's just insane.
yeah, I mean that's really hard to compensate for. So like, unless you have all max hero Town Hall 10s or all max hero Town Hall 9s or whatever you're rolling with, it's really hard to make up that ground. So that's why we made the change to add Town Hall 9s, because you can't roll all Town Hall 10s unless you're able to combat clans that have all Town Hall 10s with max heroes, because that's the type of competition you're going to run into.
Right, right.
So that's why we decided that, you know, there's a little bit of a give and a take. We loved being able to war with the best of the best, but at the same time, you kind of have to be honest to who we are as a clan, and we
Hmm.
just weren't able to beat them. For numerous reasons. They would. And eventually we made the decision to add Town Hall 9s, because what that would do is it really fit our clan better, because we weren't all max Town Hall 10s, so we just wanted to make a better a better mix, I guess, of town hall levels. That way, it would lower our bar of competition a little bit to make us more of in our comfort zone. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. I don't know if I would say it sort of raised or lowered our bar. I would say it more of just shifted us. Like we were on the path. In my mind, there's two separate paths. Originally we were on the one with all Town Hall 10 just going toe to toe. And obviously we were winning maybe 45% of those wars.
Yeah.
Then we started implementing Town Hall 9s, stronger Town Hall 9s, that is. And then it was like day and night when we
Absolutely.
got the right mix of Town Hall 9s in our roster. Like for our last, 13 wars, we're 12-1.
Yeah,
I mean,
I actually looked through the war log right now, and since going since we added the Town Hall 9s, we are 35-14. So, before that, it was probably close to the inverse because we were just going against the best war clans that would 3-star, 15 to 20 of our Town Hall 10s,
yep, yep.
So, and I mean, now you still see Town Hall 10 3-stars, just a lot less of them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's I mean, when you get your brand new anti-3 base layout 3-starred on the first attempt, like it's
Yeah,
just
it's tough.
demeaning basically.
Absolutely. So what we did was, I guess I want to make sure I get to the actual point of this
Okay.
episode, which is how to avoid them, how to avoid being mismatched. So what my idea is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, or feel free to cut in. But what I would do is not only did we add Town Hall 9s, but we started being much more strict as far as recruiting goes, not just based on attack skills, but really being cognizant of their weight. So we wanted people who had heroes that either they're able to do wonders with, like Joy in our clan, who has really low level heroes, or you, who has
Yeah.
a little bit lower. I think, what are your heroes, like around 50 combined or 60?
They're 24 and 25 right now, so almost 50.
Okay, so some people just have a great skill and they're able to compensate for low heroes, but most of us, probably people like myself, we really rely heavily on max heroes. So
Mm,
when we accept a Town Hall 10 now, we want them to have max or really close to max heroes. In Town Hall 9s, well, there's a little bit more flexibility there because they weigh so much less in terms of war weight. So what we did was we made sure that the Town Hall 10s we did accept could really carry their weight in terms of, I mean, I'm hoping most of the viewers listened to our last discussion we had, but I mean, that's what it all comes down to, right? Being able to
mhm.
carry your weight offensively, right?
Right, right. So what we do now is we we rarely accept like a fully max like player, right? And that's probably not typical for a lot of clans because they see a max base, like, oh my gosh, we need him for war.
Yeah.
But what we started noticing is some of the max guys that would come in, they would maybe get 1 or 2 stars of war, and when you're thinking about their war weight, they're sitting there at 100. They're bringing up the clan average. So what that means is you're going to be matched with the chance of you being mismatched are a lot higher with them there.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they're struggling offensively, it's basically like a double negative. So
Ex- yeah.
they're just amplifying the effect on your clan wars.
Exactly. And by contrast, the lower the person's war weight is, the more room for struggles, I guess you could say, or the more room for tolerance of offensive struggles, or the more room we can help to mold them and help them grow and help them become better attackers because they don't weigh
Exactly.
that much.
Yeah. In mini elite, we just throw in inactive like level 20 people just to bring our clan weight down because
It's
the
funny you
effect of
mentioned that. It's funny that you mentioned that because I hate to cut you off real quick, but like if you look at some of the highest level clans, the people leading the entire game as far as clan perk level goes,
hmm
you'll see that's exactly what they do.
yeah.
They'll have maybe 15 or 20 or 30 good players, quote unquote, but with really high war stars, and then they'll just have a bunch of level like 15 through 25s, and you
Yep.
can tell that's what they do. But go on. Sorry, finish your thought.
Yeah, so we do that because if you think about it, if you bring in someone that's higher and they're not that great of attackers or they just completely miss, like for matchmaking purposes, that's gonna bring your clan average up, and that's gonna draw you probably a worse war matchup But I mean, when you think about it, you bring in this little level 20. I think Uncle Rico is the guy that we use. That's Chitlin's little baby account.
Okay.
But we
So,
we just throw him in, and I mean, it doesn't really matter if he attacks or not because
yeah,
the bases
he's
that he's going to match it with, they're going to get taken care of no matter what.
exactly because you have two. Obviously, you have two attacks and one defense. So
Yep.
yeah. So my question to you is: I think a lot of the viewers might not be in the same position as Red Elite, for example, or
Hmm.
they might not all be max Town Hall 10s and 9s. It's easier said than done. It took us 2 years to get to where we are.
Yeah.
So I guess do you have any advice more catered towards a mid-level clan who is getting mismatched all the time?
So if you're a mid-level clan, my advice to you is probably really analyze the clan. Like sounds a little harsh, but you really got to analyze the players that are in your clan wars right now. You need to really see if they're struggling or if they're doing well in wars. And if they're struggling, you're going to need to sit them out and just have them practice by either pushing or coach them up, watch YouTube videos, maybe watch
That's huge. Watching
this,
YouTube videos
yeah,
is huge. I mean, obviously that's very self-serving, but not just my channel. I mean, Jake from One Hive and so many others. Like, depending on your town hall level, there's just so much content out there that it's. I find, at least me personally, back when I used to struggle. I mean, I still struggle now, but like before I had my own channel, I didn't have all my time consumed. I found just watching videos was just like super really helpful.
yeah, definitely. So I mean, first look at your own clan, see who's struggling, and if they are, sit them. And then when you're recruiting, don't just go on global and just shout out, join Free Elder, Just you
Yeah.
got to really bring in, I'd say, quality players, and the lower that you can get them is probably the better. And
Exactly.
as
That's a big piece of advice, sir. I just want to stop you there. Is that people would think that you want to get. I mean, the perfect recruit is someone who's towards your lower end. I mean, it really depends on your clan what low means to you. But your perfect recruit is someone who's a little bit lower on your war map who's a really good attacker because they're really valuable. They're going to give you easier matchups and they're going to help you offensively.
Yep. And so when you bring that low person in, you just got to really make sure they focus on I guess upgrading their walls, their heroes, and their traps first. And obviously, if they don't have heroes, don't do that. But and then, especially when they're lower, you can really play the point 0.5 town halls, and that's where you're gonna start seeing a significant improvement into your clan wars.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's another thing we should mention is that in red right now, I think we have four
Yep.
9.5s, and they count as basically it's very similar to a max Town Hall 9, depending on exactly on each one of their defenses. But
Mhm.
the fact that they don't have Inferno Towers, but they have all the offensive power as a Town Hall 10, and they only count as a Town Hall 9 is absolutely a huge advantage. Now, all bets are off, maybe at ClashCon when the next update comes out. Who knows, if Supercell revamps all this or whatnot, but for now, these are some really quality, I think, advice on how to just fix your matches and how to make them a little bit easier. Uh, Another thing I think I should mention too is that maybe if what wouldn't it be a quick fix, as you were mentioning with the Uncle Rico account, really low level account? Could it be possibly a quick fix just to add a couple lower levels to your map, or is that too much of a liability?
Let's see.
It's a tough question, I know.
That is a tough question. So I think over in Mini Elite we started having probably about 3 Town Hall 10s, like decent sized or decently weighted.
Mhm.
And then we started noticing that we were consistently getting mismatched with that. And I mean, we threw in like Uncle Rico and all the low ends,
You still
and
had it.
we were still getting mismatched. And so what we did is we'll only bring in two. Well, so right now we have there's Burner in there who's a fairly solid Town Hall 10. I think he's a 94 weight.
Mhm.
And he's like that's it. Like we're not gonna have anyone else that's even close to his weight. So we have Razorbacks who's he's also a Town Hall 10. He's on the low end. And we have him there just to help with donations. And we have MJ's mini account, and I think he's a 9.5,
Yeah.
and we've been rolling with that for probably about the past 15 wars, and we've won every one of them, and we haven't had one mismatch. So I think when you're doing that, you got to look at the top end too, because if that top end's too heavy in comparison to the bottom end, I think that's really what's drawing these mismatches. At least it was in mini, and it was in red too, actually.
Yeah, I find that in red now we are just at a really sweet spot. We had that. I just recapped actually in yesterday's episode the war that we just lost against
Mm,
the arranged war against 49ers War Clan. But before that, we had won I think 13-ish in a row, 12, 13,
yeah, that sounds.
and and it was really, I don't want to brag because we really can't brag. I mean, in a lot of those, not all of them, but in a lot, we were on the side of the mismatch, and it wasn't always drastic. But what it was we didn't have more Town Hall 10s than they did. In fact, we had less in most of the wars.
Hmm.
But what we did have is all our Town Hall 10s. I mean, I shouldn't say all, but if we're warring with 30 Town Hall 10s, I'd say 18 or 19 have max heroes,
Yeah,
and that's
that's.
huge.
Oh yeah, it's huge. Like if you, I don't know, just the heroes play so much advantage. There's so much room for error.
Even after the update, right? I mean,
Right.
I'm correct in saying that heroes are still way undervalued, right?
Yes, they are. I mean, they're a huge role. Like you can do everything could go wrong in your attack, and you can still end up with 2 stars with max heroes.
Yeah. I mean, their offensive firepower and even defensive to a much lesser extent is just
Hmm.
really, it really so severely outweighs. That's why on my mini account I'm just going ahead and upgrade. He's a Town Hall 9,
Hmm.
and I'm just upgrading heroes in walls only. That's all
Yep.
I'm doing, and I think, and I'm still on the very bottom of our Town Hall 9s, but now I'm creeping up towards the top end as far as offensive power goes because I have my hero levels.
Yeah,
So
and Bob in Red Elite,
yeah.
I think he's like the same war weight as me, and he has max offense. So that's
Yeah,
just
max heroes, max
huge,
offense. Yeah, and he's in their
huge.
20s. Yeah, with you. Yeah, so it's absolutely huge. And I guess one final note on recruiting. I guess my advice would be if you're having, because I just mentioned, is it okay to just drop down and get a few really low players to help your matchup? I guess my advice would be is don't go really low, but just bolster where you already have. So look at like your bottom 5 guys on your war map right now and try to recruit some good players in that range. And I think that really helps because you're not really taking a big hit. You're not giving up easy 3 stars per se. I mean,
Hmm.
obviously you're going to be giving up you probably are going to be giving up 3 stars, but hopefully they're not going to be really below what you already have. And
Yeah,
if you can bolster that, then I think it's enough to weigh your whole clan weight down to bring in those easier matchups. So that would be my advice.
yeah, yeah. Actually, one thing that came to mind is I remember one war a little while ago. I was looking at, so we were actually on the good end of the mismatch, and I was looking at the opponent's town hall or their war weight composition.
Hmm.
What I actually noticed is basically like their town hall 10s, they were all fairly strong across the board. And then once they got to the town hall 9s, it just completely dropped. So like town
Uh,
hall, so like number 1 through number 30, it was like 99 to 96. And then
almost
you get to their
max.
town hall 9s, yeah, and you get to their town hall 9s and it just goes like 70 and down. And
Yeah, and a
one
max
thing
Town Hall 9 is what, like 78 ish?
75, I think someone said last video. I thought it
Okay.
was 74. But
Okay.
so what my point is like basically what they did is just create a cliff, like a drop off to their town hall nines.
I
And
got you. And you want a curve.
yeah, so us, we had a nice like cascade. We have a nice cascade going down, like easing in our town hall nines. We're like our 1 is 99 and our 30 is like 92, 91.
Yep.
And so that's one thing I think. I mean, I don't have any definitive proof other than that one war, but I think that's one thing clans need to watch out for is just avoid like drop off like that, a cliff to your next town hall down.
I get you. So, obviously, I did mention we have a lot of max heroes, but that doesn't mean we have all max defenses,
Right.
and that's what provides that curve, so to
Hmm.
speak. So yeah, I think that's a great little piece of advice there, a great little tip. And anything else before we cut this one short, PC?
I
Or
think that's it.
I should say short. It's pretty long. It's kind
Yeah,
of long, but
it is. I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being on again. I think you might be a frequent guest because you just bring a lot of valuable insight to the game, especially is in terms of wars and matchups and weight. I guess I'll leave you with this. Is there anything that you particularly want to see happen on the big huge update they're touting in October?
Man, I don't know. I really just maybe a new hero, maybe need some new troops. We haven't gotten troops in a long time.
Yeah, the good old lava hound. We're still rolling with the lava hound. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think you could be right. Maybe we'll see some new troop or a hero would be pretty cool. I think, but even a
yeah.
hero level increase would be pretty cool in my book. I know a lot of people are probably saying no, but I've been at max for so long that I'm ready to farm a little bit.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
okay, thanks PC. I appreciate you coming on and once again, thanks a lot.
All right, no problem, man. I'll talk to you later.
Take care, dude. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. I wanted to give you 3 quick ways you can help the channel out. Number 1, subscribe if you're not already. It really helps me. Number 2 is give a thumbs up, like the video. Number 3, continue to tell your clanmates about my channel. It really helps and I really appreciate it. And also social media. You can follow me on Twitter at @clash_with_ash. Also, follow me or find me on Bindle at hashtag Clash with Ash. And don't forget to visit my website, www.clashwithash.com. Take care, guys.